Nope. Nope. Wait for it. So first we expand the search. Oh, okay, that was the second one. But why didn't you suggest that? Maybe you did. Maybe you did. Let's check it. Let's check it. Yeah, why didn't you suggest? Yeah, thank you. Batman 2000. Okay. Yeah. Oh no. What this did it? Well, yo. Oh. Yeah. Whoops. Too high, can't come down. Oh, I've got ice cream. The neighbor suggested that if you do want some milk, I'll give you a drink instead of a cup. The equivalent of a meal for me. Okay, fair enough. But then I assume it's probably what you're realizing why you haven't been drinking it or eating it lately. Constantly feeling you moving. Oh, well, there's the. Apologies, I've got ice cream. So. Yeah. Oh. Mm. I know. No. That last bit, okay, sorry. It's not McDonald's, it's the leftovers though. Hmm. Ionia. I'm going Ionia. Mhm. Hello. 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 I killed. Oh no! Oh no! That's the wrong one. Oh no! Oh no! I sold the wrong unit earlier. Oh no! You want to go outside? Oh goodness! You snooze, you lose. uh, gonna be a good one. Maybe. I mean, you all might have good ones too. Good point. This ogres. Oh, that's silly. No. Access after. Sorry to. Oh goodness. Okay. Nice. Nice. Oh, that wouldn't have been that bad. Yes, no. I mean, hopefully. Hmm. I mean, what's his point? Didn't give 100 points, so we win. Yeah, okay. I don't think they care, but that's okay. As long as they don't feel attacked, no, no. Rawr. I gotta get some water. Rawr. Oh, sorry about that. So I don't need to hold your legs. I'm sorry. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry. Don't need to hold your legs if I'm gonna drop you on your side. I will promise you when and have them land. I gotta pee. Hey, hey, it's not bad. It's not bad. Pressure very good though. Yeah. Okay. This here. Put this here. I'm gonna put this here. Ooh, I'm gonna put that there. What? Good. One more vape for the night. You don't need another vape for the night. You can wait till tomorrow. Okay. Gross. Just nope. Gross. said white. Prove it. Works better for me. When you give someone a cough drop and they immediately chew it, you're like, remind me never to give you a cough drop again, please. Because you know their response is going to be, this worked better for me this way. Because then, yeah, what are you saying at that point? Prove it. Because all they're really doing is making an excuse for a habit. He says as he hits a vape pen multiple times, even though he said he was going to do one time that was going to be fun. Yeah, see, you got to practice what you preach and work on that. I've got to practice what I preach, and I've got to work on that, and work on that. I've got to practice what I preach and work on that. Ooh, wonder if we have more. Ooh, what was that latest? All plant types have. Oh, ooh. Gaming codex, take off the palette. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, it probably did. I think it did. Ready. Here we go. Ha! Ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha ha! Okay, it's silly. Yeah, wait, it'll be good. Oh, yep, wait, exit. Wait. Oh, wait. That's plenty. Plenty. Thank you. This will help me kind of regulate some adjustments with the seasons. And this nice though. I'm out of cheese. You drank milk. Oh, so floss. Okay. Hmm. So you expect me to go to McDonald's to eventually have enough money to someday go to college and become a doctor? How dumb is that? What is? Hello. I don't know. Can you help me? What do I want? I was calling to leave a message so you could get to it at your leisure. There's because you're not supposed to be there and answering the phone. I'm supposed to be leaving a message while you can get to it at your leisure. Why are you getting upset with me? Why are you getting upset with me? Do you not know the phrase "don't shoot the messenger"? You're supposed to be professional about this. I'm calling you after business hours. You're not supposed to be talking like why are you so upset? I'm recording this for the record. Turn off your ringer, you dumb bitch. Why are you doing this shit? So for some reason, I was expected to work at McDonald's at minimum wage, pay rent, pay insurance, pay for permits that, if they're necessary, they should be paid for. Like the driver's license, it should be paid for if it's necessary. But y'all are forcing that civilians need to be using the stock market. That Tao Te Ching book that I read while I was in jail because one of your police officers put me in jail for calling 911. And by the way, if one of the police officers put me in jail, that means one of the judges put me in jail as well. Because this police officer, he did not identify himself. He starts banging on the door. I get scared and I call 911. I start crying because I'm so scared. I don't know what to do in this situation. You have already put me in jail twice. Because the first time I called y'all, the police department, for mediation about this person's truck. But they, I assume, thought I was talking about their house. And I was not talking about their house. I also assumed at the time I assumed this lady was jumping at me, but then because there was like 10 of them lined up on the curb, and they were all standing on the curb, like shoulder to shoulder, like Red Rover type thing. It was weird. I've never seen it before, so it was like premeditated response to people that have come to talk to them or about their music or the range of their recreation is what I like to try to phrase it as. So your message answer machine has a message limit, and it seems that you don't understand that if somebody's talking, they can't hear you. And it seems that you got upset because I'm trying to call your answer machine, and you're upset because it's also ringing. It's your house. Like that's what pillows are for. So why are you making this my problem and trying to punish me further instead of actually addressing the issue? Because that's what it seems to be happening. Y'all are trying to say, well, since he made me upset, so we don't have to do our job. No, that's not correct. Okay? I do apologize for the bitch comment, but I need to clarify. I don't say bitch because you're a female. Say it because you're being a bitch. That's you're getting frustrated because your own decision of not silencing your own ringer. You even answered it at one point and you chose to hang up. And so why, like, what? I even said like happy holidays at that point. So like, what the? It's there's a sacred day. It's called Sunday, and I assume you go to church and listen to some shithead talk on work on Sunday. It's not woman be silent in church. It's human be silent in church. So I suggest maybe singing a few songs to get the frame of mind into the spirit of church, and shutting the fuck up. There's also a setting that instantly sets it to voicemail. You don't have to even hear the ring. Like you could do it. You could change the ring to one ring. Like so again, don't shoot the messenger as a comment. There's good Samaritan laws for a reason. I haven't actually looked them up because I'm a good person. Those who need more laws are not people that you need to be around because they don't know how to be good people yet. I'm still, hey, don't get me wrong. I don't know how to be the best person or the goodest, like a good person. Like, eh, stay humble, you know. And there's also settings on how long the answer the messages could be. That's I use visible.com for my phone service. It's $25 per month total. That's it. There's even I think there's a $19 a month thing. I don't know, but $25 a month. And there's international options for up to 45 dollars a month total. Unlimited hotspot. It's not as fast as what the highest speeds these things are offering, but it's got the best fine print, the small print that is it's nice. The best comparative option is Google, but it would cost you the $66 thing and then the 80 another $20, making it 86 per month because you'd have to unlock the maximum bandwidth for 20 or after 20 gigs, and you'd have to unlock it for $20. But then if that was the case, it would be amazing because I use 300 to 600 gigs a month. And I know this is a lot of information, and it seems like, oh, he gets off topic, but it's also showing you can't keep up when he's trying to start showing you a little bit, like expanding on topics. So, anyways, I got this the first time I called. I ended up talking about McDonald's, and then I called back, and I realized I like during the process of going through your answer machine, which is weird. It's like you're already defensive in your answer machine. Hey, you need to make sure you're calling me correctly. This isn't blah 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 blah. Okay, pound. Oh fuck. Anyways, so I realized that I needed to watch my recording and like like basically proofread and put some thought into what I was going to say next. Uh, or re Like the brain does something I call it where it dumps the short term into long term memory, but that's used in computer similes because I don't know the actual what it's doing. Whatever the brain simply like brain fire or whatever is what it's been called 20, 40 years ago. And but luckily the recording thing. So like you got upset for some reason. Like why is y'all's go to option? Well, we gotta get mad and okay. If you're why are you still doing that job then? Let somebody else have a chance because y'all aren't allocating y'all's resources correctly. You've got these shiny vehicles. You could have been. Yeah. I'd have called it though, right? Oh, goodness. Okay, I'm gonna upload this one. And actually, I got a better idea. Hello. Would you be able to turn your volume up, please? Thank you. I did try to. I'm sorry. I can hear you, yes, but continues to be exceedingly difficult. There's some issue with the emergency system that I use, and it's not. I can hear you. I mean, yeah, it's simply it's not getting any better. If that's okay to make do with this, I'm not actually needing to get a police officer or anything. I am trying to call the code enforcement person and leave messages in a detailed message. And the message cuts off after a few minutes, so then I call back and continue the message. But then I've come to find out every time it's calling them to leave a message, it's actually ringing their phone. So earlier today, they made it to where the voice message is full. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm recording this. I'm like, that's kind of dumb. Like I say it in recording. And like, well, joke's on them. I know what they're doing. I'm gonna call back in about 30 minutes because they're not a bad person. They know like they need to turn it back on in case of an emergency or something or like but it's not an emergency. This is in case of their job. And so I didn't know that they're actually ringing that the phone's ringing. Like, why don't they have that set when they're not at work? Like, that's why are they trying to punish the messenger? Okay, again, um, so a moment ago, I tried to call him back and start. Sure enough, there's an answer machine of space available. So I continue where I left off. I started talking about how I didn't understand how I'm supposed to be working on a part-time or a full-time job at McDonald's, minimum wage, paying rent, permits, insurances, hospital bills, and also having to record everything in to prevent bullying and dishonesty. And then also while saving so I can someday maybe go to school and college and learn how to be the actual doctor that I could have been. I was going to be an X-ray tech, but then I got bullied and overworked, and I couldn't make good grades. So I realized I can't be in a hospital if I'm too dumb to like make this work. But it wasn't me; it was this whole issue. Okay, sorry. So that was going to be the second message about that. And so I sorry, I'm lucky that I was recording this, and so in the recording I'm like, hey, I'm lucky I can watch the recording and continue where I left off because I had a brain fart when I called the second time. And so again, this was earlier today. I didn't know that it was calling them on Christmas. I was thinking this is the best time to call because I'll talk to their answer machine directly. It'll be the best opportunity. They can hear it, listen to it at their leisure. They can save the messages and at their time. Because I was put in jail for calling 911 on a police officer. I was put in jail for 4 weeks, not 28 days. I was actually long enough for Star Care to start my services. Like the jail, they treat you as uncooperative if you ask for a lawyer. But when you get sent to jail, you're told that you have the right to an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you. So at that point, if you don't stop talking, they don't say except for demographics. That's not in the thing. But then later, well, no, yeah, like blah blah blah. Sorry, this reminded me not to get too distracted. And so what I'm trying to ask is, would you call the the three number on the 828-2020 and three and talk to them and say, hey, set your ringer and stop punishing this person for your choices of not wanting to do your job. I don't know what other bet. You could probably word it a lot better than me. That's way blunt, but it's also correct. If you'd like to, not you specifically, the officer maybe. Sorry. and have them do like, hey, you got to reconnect your answer machine for this person. They're trying to leave detailed voice messages. Why are you having an issue with that? They set it to full. Like they earlier today they did it, and then I recalled back a couple like a few minutes ago. I had started calling, and then that's when I found out like they answered it in person and said, "Hey, you're calling me." They got really upset. I've got it on recording. I actually said I called them a bitch, but then I in the answer one of the messages I said, "Hey, by the way, I didn't call you a bitch because you're female. I called you a bitch because you were being a bitch. You should not have try to shoot the messenger. Like he has no idea. How am I to know that that's going through her home line? Correct? Like, so I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm sorry. Apparently, yeah, I found that out right now. Like the 828-2020, and you press 3, and it's holy crap. Okay, but I mean that explains why their voice message is so defensive on the at the start because it's like if you're not calling me for blah blah blah, it's weird. They're not. That's not the tone that they use for to be clear on that. I am definitely trying to compromise and be cooperative because that again, one of the issues is also with the police officer that put me in jail for 28 days for calling 911 on him when he refused to identify. I've got that on recording as well, and he should have it on his chest recording. I don't quite remember the days, but it was I was put in jail for calling 911 uh, and he, uh, I started crying because he started banging on the door. Just like I was like, "Hey, why are you coming here? You're supposed to call me." Like because I'd called the non-emergency number and ended up calling 911. They said, "Well, we'll have the officer call you." I said, "Thank you." And he comes knocks on the door and he does not identify. And then he starts banging on the door, and I'm like, and I've got that on recording. And so currently that's 50 grand because y'all put me in jail. That's a year of kidnapping. And I know it's only 28 days, but that's I hope they take that deal because I'd really like to only offer like the 13 grand deal because that's 7.5 grand of my time served, like the 2 weeks, and the 28 days, and then because I think that's very cooperative, but also another 5 grand because it covers my apartment that I had to renew to actually go to court and have a place to be legal. I would furnish the utilities for free because y'all Texas is already paying my food. I think that's really. I hope they. I would use that as like a secondary offering, but I'm hoping they take the 50 grand deal because it would be 50 grand for each of those three issues. Because I called the police on 327 for a mediation and they simply disregarded that I was calling the police as well, and they one of the persons that they had talked to said, "Hey, all I did was call the police." But then all these other people that were saying like, that I was talking shit about their house. No, all I was saying is don't be doing the crap with your truck. And y'all even had to tell them that, like, because I've had to call again after I got out of jail to get it. To get you to realize that I appreciate that you think you can. Okay, sorry, you can be as loud as you want to be until I have to hear it. Like whenever my doors are closed. Like, and so one of the ways that like the police officers need to start, and so the reason why I called code enforcement in the first place was to say that the officers are continuing not to to police the like that they don't have their windows rolled up, and the people that they can hear before they can see, they're not doing anything about that yet. And it's not like we'll get around to it. It's like no, you're not doing anything at all. And then there's also the littering's not improving. There's people throwing out cigarette butts. The cigarette butt whenever I was picking up cigarette butts at the homeless shelter, I was picking them up and I was in my mantra was every butt is $250, and then every butt is $250, and occasionally I'd say and occasional or and sorry, it's clever. Give me like 5 more seconds and a potential arson charge or something like that. It was not quite the potential word, but and it's also an arson charge because like a cigarette, like I was 20 years ago, I was going to a mental health facility and I was staying in Slayton, and I threw a cigarette butt outside, and then on the way back to Slayton, I happened to look it up to the left, and there's a patch of grass that's burning. I'm like, oh, that might have been mine. I don't remember seeing that on the way up there or smelling. So, like, yeah, that was my day I stopped littering. I started using the box from the previous package to empty my cigarette butt in. And that gave me the opportunity to smoke half a cigarette and put it in the box, close the box. And that helped me to 3 to 5 cigarettes a day. If you're smoking more than that, you're aiding and abetting your murder and your neighbor's death. That's how England wins. We don't want that. But at the same time, we don't. People don't have to completely stop smoking tobacco either. Why aren't there solar panels and vent chambers on the bus stops? So this is the smoking section. Like why not? It won't cost that much and it will be fantastic for the environment. You can even show the filters. I had 2 plants that I was growing. I know this is a lot of information, but that's why I was calling the answer machine. It's, if you can understand why. And yeah, like I was in jail for two, for what, 28 times two, 40, 16, 56 days total. I was there for 56 days and none of them came to talk to me. They could have come to talk to me in person like a decent person. None of them have apologized to me for it yet. The 2 officers that put me in jail for cussing in a courtroom, they did not say anything about that dude that was doing the Skype and driving. That's a big no-no. And then he's the one that's punishing me for cussing. Like I said, this is shit because one of the things he said, he's like, you pled guilty. He didn't say you pled guilty. He said you pled not guilty. But it lagged. On our side, it said you pled guilty. But there was three other people there. None of them said, hey, no, actually on our end, it said you pled guilty. And they waited for them to say, hey, stop interrupting me. So y'all need to review that stuff, please. I don't understand. Like, the officer's not going to do it because it's his own ass. I'm like, he knows he fucked up. That's why he put me in jail because he's just being a nuisance and I don't know what else to do. Continue talking and asking more questions is what you should have done. He even said that in the recording. I even said that in the recording. Like, hey, why don't you two talk to each other about what we both said right then? But then y'all might have earpieces that are really good. I want to do this app called Wi-Fi, like WIFE-EYE, that lets you share your phone things like there's that team viewer that you can work on people's computers. So this would be like that for your phone. So it's like currently whenever you have your music on or something on and like if you're doing screen recording, it'll cut that off if you make a phone call. But with Wi-Fi, it would be no, you're always connected to that person if they want to be. Like you would set permissions ahead of time for, I mean, generally your significant other, or but whoever, and then they could, if they needed to or wanted to or all the time, they would be in your earpiece and they could see your location if you had allowed it, your camera, whatnot. Yes, it can be dangerous, whatnot, but it can also stop child trafficking or human trafficking because it also starts getting these people that are dishonest saying blah 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 and stuff, and these officers didn't ask them follow-up questions. But wait, he said that all he did was call stand there and call the police. None of y'all, like a judge actually put me in jail without reviewing that, or they did review that and failed to notice it. Justice isn't a business. We've got to stop seeking monetary penalties as part of the punishment. That'll be a big change because then it stops. Why are we punishing people smoking weed instead of actually punishing people causing them, like I'll smoke weed, THCA or whatever products to give people an excuse, like why are you saying this stuff, why can't you work, why can't you take a joke? But then these people saying they're taking a joke are the people like they're portraying stuff like from Jackass, or they think wrestling's not scripted, or it's beautiful gymnastics. But yeah, have y'all had a chance to let that person know to stop fucking around with their? I mean, of course, with better language, probably, but ah, sorry, that lets me know that I'm upset. And so instead of actually, hey, we need to put that person in jail, say, hey, whoa, you're upset for saying that. So okay, sorry, let me rephrase that. Um, what do you think about that opinion on talking to that person or trying the 828-2020 number and pressing three and but could you could you have the officer try that? Because so like they'll have, like if an officer tries that number and presses three, that person getting the phone call will be able to talk to that officer, and that officer could say, oh, so it does go through your line and this doesn't go through an answer machine after hours. And then they'll immediately things will either go really bad for me and they'll try to put me in jail, or they'll see that okay, this is kind of how it would happen in any situation, any other time with any other person in this situation. Like this, I'm I am seeking their answer machine because I can talk to their answer machine uninterrupted and get the story out and then wait for their response because they refuse to text message. Fuck no, dear. Like I'll start swearing in all sorts of manners, and they don't like that. They put me in jail for speaking freely. I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah. It's no. There's snowflakes, and it's summer. Like it's. I had my air conditioner on earlier today. It is. uh, it was very nice though. I mean, I say that, but then I also have to say no. It was fantastic. Like uh, but at the same time, no. It's horrible if you're like I went to I had a scuba suit and jeans in 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and I was comfortable for 10 hours. So, I mean, I had a good face mask and mittens and rubber boots. And my boots, like after, so I started walking at 2 a.m. and about 8 a.m. all the cold that like the condensation, because it wasn't snowing, but it was accumulating snow because the condensation was falling and like it was weird. And so as I'm walking and the sun comes up, I start collecting water in my boots, not sweat, but water. I had to pour it out a couple times, but my feet aren't cold. It was fantastic. Uh, I know it's a lot of extra information, but it's the only way I know how to help people anymore. Because I'm not trying to like say that that'll be helpful to you, but it might come up someday. And oh God, this is horrible. Because I know, yeah, yeah, it is Christmas. I wasn't trying to cause anybody any upset. That's why I was calling the answer machine. I know. Yeah. 806-828-2020, and you press 3 when it starts speaking. I'm assuming they'll answer because they'll see that it's not my number calling and it is somebody calling that number. So, like, okay, he probably called the police, that stupid bastard. It's like, well, yeah, he is stupid because y'all try to give him this education that relies on him being compliant, not understanding anything. Like, you got us to try to memorize the Pledge of Allegiance, but then you never told them what it actually means, like what deals they're trying to make. It's like, fuck, no, we're not your slaves. I mean, yeah, hey, I love this country, but I don't exist in it. You're charging me rent. Like I gotta work for somebody to pay their cousin rent and forever. Fuck you. And then if once I retire, if I ever gets into the nurse like the Mercy Manor nursing home, they sent my grandparents there. They sent them to separate rooms and they were dead 2 months later. My alleged father, Lonnie King, he killed his brother. Like they had him put down for dementia because he kept saying people were stealing from him rather than actually stop the people stealing from him. Lonnie was stealing from him every fucking year for his birthday. But the family says, well, Lonnie was having fun. And they say, well, Brandon was like Brandon was never having fun. He was upset all the time. Nobody cares because Lonnie's such a good liar. Nobody will talk to me about what happened when he murdered that person. They say, oh, it was an accident. No, he was probably fingering somebody, and there's no statute of limitation. But the double Jeopardy bullshit. Like y'all let him get away with the lying the first time. But that's not if he was actually honest about it, then he won't have to go to jail probably. He'll get some sort of probation thing and like but that'll keep him from doing it again. Because he hasn't stopped driving with his hands on the like feet on the road, hands and eyes on the road, or sorry, hands on the steering wheel. He puts his hand, he'll start poking in, and you can smell because he's got his. Sorry, it's I seek a DNA test with these people, but I'm thinking that they're too scared because he's probably done a lot worse than what he's in. Um, so I'm hoping to use some of the money that y'all pay me for the improper imprisonment, because at least the 13 grand is a very reasonable and respectable number. Uh, but the 150 grand is anyway. Sorry. If they don't get to talk to the person, I definitely would like them to let me know, because then I'll try the number again, and also if the answer machine's full, because if the answer machine's full, it shows that that person, like, it only has space for three answer machines, or that it shows that there's some other problem and that person might need help. How long has it been since they've checked their answer machines and stuff like that? I know that's a drastic case scenario, but I'm also trying to get things done. Yeah, but also at the same time, that's no excuse. That was no excuse for how this is handled. They chose to fill out, like, to set the setting on their answer machine to full or not full. Because earlier it was full today, they emptied it. Because I've got this on recording too. Like, that's kind of, that is definitely a possibility. And if that's so, I mean, but then if they're only allowing for five voicemails at a time, they need to adjust that setting, and this wouldn't happen. So that's like, if you want it to be a holiday, it's got to be a holiday. Sorry. Correct. Correct. But that's also something that doesn't have to have happened at all. They chose to do this because they didn't want to change the setting on their phone ringer. They were tired of hearing the ring every time, and I don't need that. This is not no. And I'm trying to handle this correctly right now. Like, instead of making it inconvenience and them choosing to do that, they don't have to do it that way. They could have simply let it run its course and then listen to the answering messages like that. It's weird. But if that's the case, why don't they change their phone settings? They don't need, like, they're punishing me because they don't want to change their phone settings. So that's not safe at all. They don't need to have their job anymore. So this is all, yeah, rather than forecast failure. No, let's actually have the officer call them and do that. I'm gonna actually I'll let y'all think about some things, and I'll, rather than have y'all do anything, you can do whatever you'd like to do. I'm gonna try calling the number again to see if they freed up space. If they haven't freed up space, then I'll call y'all back. What about that idea? Okay. Thank you. Sorry, and thank you very much for the patience. Like, holy crap, because I even cussed, and there's a policy amongst people, like, if they start cussing, we can hang up on them because they don't matter anymore. So I appreciate the patience. Uh, yeah. I mean, a good day's to
Police Department. If this is an emergency or you need EMS, please hang up and dial. Your call is now being forwarded. Please hold. Hello, you have reached Rebecca with Code Enforcement. Any To dial another extension, please leave a message after the tone.
Thanks again for clearing your inbox. I was talking to the police department about discussing getting an officer to call the 828-2020 number and pressing 3 to see if it actually did go to you directly, or not, or the voicemail. And I was assuming you'd answer, seeing like it was their number and not mine, and thinking, oh, that dumb prick called the police, blah blah blah. It's Christmas, blah blah blah. Rather than thinking, oh, maybe I should simply muffle the ringer. And actually, if you, I don't know if y'all's, that goes back to what I was saying about the what's it, the y'all's phone service system or something. How y'all don't have means to get people's caller ID and stuff like that. That needs to be changed. The whole text message thing, because you can text 911 now, but you can't text non-emergencies. So then to text someone, you text 911 because it's convenient and it's the same people. But then that gives officers the right to like some weird right to put people in jail because for using 911 in a non-emergency setting. That's bullshit because that made it an emergency, like an exigent circumstance. It might not have been an emergency, but it was an exigent circumstance. So when that officer put me in jail for 28 days, and I'm calling you on the 24th day of some fucking random month, bullshit, because this earth is goddamn around the sun, fucker, because you're making some goddamn tradition to bullshit people into fucking doing your damn chores for your cocksucking bullshit motherfucking. Yeah, see, that's freedom of speech. But you notice how he's not making threats. He's not actually he apologized. But yeah, fuck it. That got a bit drastic for sure. Let's breathe. Palpable silence. Trying to develop that as a communication tactic. I use Psych Plus because the local Sunrise Canyon Star Care that the LCDC happens to use Star Care. For some reason, when they put you in LCDC and treat you as well, actually, regardless of if they treat you as uncooperative for asking for an attorney, which is also code enforcement, right? Because they're not. This is so far from code. Shit. Uh, anyway, sorry, got a little distracted. But they take you off your meds for 2 weeks. The first two times I was completely off the meds by the time I got out, and so I go through the sister gets upset and like blah blah blah. You typed to me with more words than usual and blah blah blah. Okay, but did you read the words? Why don't you actually read the words?
You have exceeded the message limit.
Hello. Sorry again for calling you on Christmas. I really did not know that it would get to you like what? I can't hear. I'm trying to call the three number, the code number. Hello? I'm calling the damn answer machine, you prick. Put it on the answer machine if you don't talk to me. Hey, so I did call back and I did get to leave a message, but then I called back a second time to finish the message and hopefully finish the message. And then they answered. And I was like, hey, sorry for calling you on Christmas. And then she switches to some like mail. It's like, hey, don't call here, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, whatever. So I'm not going to call there again today, but I'm definitely going to call it. Wait, so what? How, in like 6 hours, 7 hours? When can I call back? Not today, or is it only at this time, like right now? Okay. It was weird. For some reason, like the officer intercepted the call, or he might be at their house. I don't fucking know. They might be sleeping together. Who knows? It's fucking this town is. They don't teach sexual education, but then they take their kids to family dances and freak out when they find them in bed together. I got very lucky not to sleep. Okay, sorry, distracted. So yeah, I called the number the second time, and I really am trying to just fucking I don't know get them. I don't know. I don't fucking trying to get them to do anything. I'm trying to be done with it. But then it's like, oh, well, we're done with it. Why aren't he? Because you put him in jail because you didn't want to ask follow up questions. Because like, that's no. Because you didn't want to give him an attorney. You tried like the judge tried to get me to plead guilty because, and I quote, "You've already served the maximum punishment." Like, no, judge, you don't refuse someone an attorney and then try to get them to plead guilty because they've already served the time. That is no. I mean, I assume that that is completely unconstitutional. Oh, sorry. Oh no, my finger was on the hole. Okay, I gotta hold the phone in the correct way. Can you hear me? I'm not gonna repeat all that. Sorry. But I had called the 828-2020 number, like I said, to check if they had cleared the messages, and there was room to to talk, and so I had started, and I got through the first message. I was going to go on to the second, which actually now I'll have to pause my recording and start re-recording. So uh, but then at the time I was going to leave a second message, and then I there wasn't they're pretty long, like 3 minute messages. So I was that was probably about the seventh I think I was on, maybe the eighth. And next, okay, it's 24 minutes of talking, and then that gives them a good, if they need to make that response, then I mean that's a good page or two of text worth of response if they need to, or it could be two sentences. I don't know. It's it's maybe like I'm expecting to, yeah, we'll get right on that because all of that does sound like some stuff we need to work on. Okay, okay, hold on. Let me pause you right there. Rather than try to, okay, anyways, can you talk to the officer and ask if that's what happened, and then have them call me back, please, if that is what happened. That she actually did have an officer try to say not to call her answer machine, her after hours work fucking answer machine. Sorry. It is. It's 828-2020, press number 3. And it's got a detailed message. She's got a very defensive, detailed message about how this is not for the fire department. This is like she doesn't specifically say what it is for because that would imply like people would actually have the right person, and they don't want this to happen. This is for the police department. Like I actually had to call her about the Texas 1809 place and about how the police officers weren't saying anything about that, and read the Slayton code back to her about how, hey, no, you can't amplify this shit. And then the well, but only during certain hours. No, there's absolutely no mention of any hours. There's it's if it's bothering somebody in their house, you don't allow it, especially if it's because it's amplified sound. Okay, but again, the way they're handling this, I'm simply giving you that I'm recording this. I'm not calling them back tonight, but at the same time, what time like do I call them back at 8 a.m. today, 9 a.m. today, or should I wait till tomorrow? But tomorrow's a weekend, so I mean, okay, to start calling an answer machine. Okay, but I was almost done with this message, but y'all think that 24 minutes is enough, even though it might have needed 25. I don't want to talk to them because they're shitheads. Like they're trying to get upset because they chose not to change their ringer on a fucking holiday. Like it's not my fault that they don't know how to change their shit. I am fine, honey. Sorry, that is a bad habit. I am not trying to call you honey. I'm that is. I'm sorry. 8 to 3 Monday through Friday. But then why do they have an answer machine? Why was I get like why were they getting threatening me? I can't go to the city offices. I'm banned from the city offices because they didn't want to handle this shit correctly. So why not? I'm listening to you. Nobody's stopping you. You're cutting out a bit though. Why do I have to wait until then, though? Because they have an answer machine. I was almost done, but I was not quite done yet. Will you talk to the officer about that for me? And have them call me back, please? Thank you. Yeah, three-way would be perfect because they're shitbags and they need a chaperone. So do I. That's part of the whole bad education system. I think Texas or Slayton's. It would have been so good. I dissected a frog in second grade. Then we got sent to a 200 person school, K through 12, and it was horrible. Yeah, that's my legal name. Okay, why? No, 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 no. Wait, wait, wait. Why? I'm not trying to talk to them. So why do I have to wait until then to call the answer machine? That's what I need you to ask the officer, please. Will you please ask the officer why I need to wait until then to call the answer machine? And please get an acceptable answer. You are on recording. That's not a thank you. Because like I'm not trying to say a threat. I'm trying to simply say I need an acceptable answer that will hold up in a court of law. Hey, hey, nah, hey, go do it. Yeah. No, I need you to ask the officer why I can't call the answer machine until 8 a.m. on Monday. I don't want to talk to that dickbag. I need you to answer that question, ma'am. I need you to answer that. Hey, you just then went about to a go between. This is a very simple question.
Your call is now being forwarded.
This is a very reasonable request. You can do this question. I don't want to talk to that officer. He already threatened me like to punish me for calling the fucking answer machine. I don't need to talk to them. I need you to get her an acceptable, ma'am, 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 ma'am. I need you to get an acceptable answer of why I can't call an answer machine. Please. Don't hang up then, please. Please don't hang up. Go. Stop waiting if that's what needs to be done. Like, oh, you don't need an acknowledgement for this thing to continue. Like, you've already, yeah, that's something you need to improve on. Not that you're doing bad. It's simply something that you could have been like realized that okay, he's ready. Let's fucking do this. Fucking there. Okay. Practices. That's why we watch replays. Hello. I've been trying to call code enforcement 828-2020, press 3, and I was going to leave a voicemail. Okay, so why am I okay, so why is the actual reason that I cannot call and leave a voicemail after hours? And you are on recording. Sorry, I can't hear you. You're cutting out. Will you please repeat yourself? Sir, that's your opinion. That's not the truth. Sir, sir, you didn't have time to listen to all those messages, please. Hey, sir, you're doing hearsay because you had no chance to hear all those messages. Okay, good. Then you need to take better notes. Are you the person who put me in jail for calling 911 when you refused to identify? Sir, sir, stop talking when I'm talking, please. I can't hear you when I'm talking. Sir, will you please tell me why I can't call the answer machine after hours? Sir, what additional charges? Harassment charges for what? I'm calling a number, an after hours number. Okay, I'm gonna call a lawyer. Hello, Mr. Stengel. Sorry for using the emergency number. I was threatened that if I don't stop calling the after hours number for 828-2020 and pressing 3 and trying to leave a detailed message, I felt that I was almost done within one or two messages. And at least enough that I could be like, okay, I don't have to say or have any too many regrets other than getting a bit distracted with the wording at one point. But so it turns out that this person it goes right to like it's calling them the whole time. So rather than turn off their ringer, they're simply no, we're gonna get you for harassment for because we don't want to do our jobs. No, I've got it all on recording too. So let's make some money, please. I mean, I don't really actually want money. I simply want it to change because that would be money. Like so much worth it in gold. This is the same officer that put me in jail for calling 911 while refusing to identify. That's we got to stop this, sir. This is aiding in like the kidnapping, man. I mean, please.
Thank you for calling the Slate Police Department.
Press 1, not 3.
Your call is now being forwarded.
Hi again. I was gonna say thank you, and I was gonna ask if you actually hear the whenever me and the officer were talking. Okay, so what I did was I called Fred Stengel. He's not my current attorney, but he was the previous attorney. I let him know that I was being threatened with harassment charges for trying to call the 828-2020 number in Preston 3 after hours to leave a voicemail. That's about the summary, correct? I called Fred Stengel and then I press the if you're a current client and this is an emergency, press 3 for Fred Stengel. Uh, and then I left them a voice message about being threatened with harassment charges for calling the 828-2020 number and pressing 3 to leave a detailed voice message at a time where I was very certain nobody would be there and I could leave a voice message. And it turns out that they're getting upset because they don't want to turn their ringer off. And so that's about the summary, I think, right? Thank you. Does that seem like a decent thing to at least let it handle and wait for the attorney to talk to me, or then wait till Monday? Because otherwise, I will go to jail because y'all aren't going to do anything about these kidnapped. Because this is the same. Oh, also on the message to Fred Stengel, I mentioned that it's the same officer that put me in jail for calling 911 when he refused to identify. Okay. I would also advise that you let your supervisors know that this is happening, please. Y todo, it all. It's a pretty big deal, neighbor. Sorry, I almost called you dear. I needed to say neighbor because we're all neighbors. And that's, I mean, if you're gonna say a pet name to somebody that's not their real name, at least use neighbor. Apologies. Just because at least you've done what you can to not be an accomplice. So that way, in the notes, if this ever gets to the Supreme Court, because you don't cut people off from their not getting an attorney because it'll be too expensive, and your officer shouldn't have put you in jail, and you shouldn't have, the judge shouldn't have simply rubber stamped the stuff to begin with. And so, since this is, I'm sorry. So yeah, if you'll do that and forward it to whatever you can, please. I'm not trying to threaten you. I'm just simply trying to say, please be a decent person because it'll pay you off dividends. I'm not trying to say anything about that. I'm simply saying, hey, if you can forward this to anybody, you can, and that would be great. Thank you. Good days.